Alrighty, so 3-5, this is day one examples. We are dividing to solve an equation, and we're multiplying and dividing. We'll start with dividing though. So what we're looking at here is the fact that we have 0.9 times r. So again, a reminder, that means times r when we don't have anything written there next to it, equals negative 5.4. So obviously, you're going to divide both sides by 0.9. Divide both sides by 0.9. And again, if you remember how to do all that division fun, that long division, I know you love that stuff. What that looks like is so the 0.54 or 5.4 rather goes inside the little house, right? Divided by 0.9. No decimals allowed on the outside, and we practiced this before. So we really find out how many times does 9 go into 54. That's 6 times. And again, it's a positive divided by a negative, so the answer is going to be a negative 6. And that's an easy check. Just go plug that back in, right, to the original equation and prove that it's true. So our answer is correct. Go ahead and pause, head back into Class Kick. I've got a few there for you, and I'm going to be watching and grading. Alrighty, so our answers on this one, and I've included them down below for you as a reminder. See, I'm going to switch my pen color. There we go. So here we have 0.8 or 8 tenths times x equals negative 1.6. And again, so we're going to divide both sides by that 8 tenths. Obviously, the answer is going to be negative because I have a positive divided by a negative, so write that down so you don't forget it. And 1.6 divided by 0.8, again, bump the decimal, goes in 2 times. Okay. B, we're going to divide both sides by 2.3. Again, we're dividing by whatever's attached to the variable. So x equals, and this one's going to be a positive answer. So we have 1.15 divided by 2.3, and that's you're going to find is actually going to be 1/2. It's going to come out to be exactly 1/2. That's an x, by the way, there. Okay. And moving along, C. We're going to this time divide both sides by negative 0.9. Notice there's a negative on there. Negative 0.9. Now that means the answer, by the way, is going to be positive because a negative divided by a negative is positive. And we have that lovely 81.81, right? And so obviously, so 0.9, there we go, going into 81.81. Bump the decimal, bump the decimal. So it goes to 81, 9 times, right? Then we get a 0, and we have to bring everything down. And there we go, end up with 90.9. Again, it's a positive 90.9 because negative divided by negative is positive. Go ahead and continue watching for another example from me. Now, just like when we're working with integers, if it's divided by something, you go ahead and multiply by that same thing to get rid of it, right? The undo operation, the opposite operation idea. So in this case right here, we have m divided by negative 7.2. So that means I have to multiply both sides by negative 7.2. And you know, when I show it, I always look at it like this, right? Kind of have two fractions, I cross cancel. So m equals whatever this multiplication happens to be. And again, we know that a negative times negative is positive. If you were to multiply that out, you find out it is exactly 90. Alrighty, just like usual, pause, go ahead and head into Class Kick. Do show your work, please. Alrighty, folks, we're going to spend a couple days on this 3-5. So we're solving equations by multiplying and dividing today. And I've already included the answers here for you. Alrighty, so starting with this first one, we have r over negative 6. So r divided by negative 6 equals 0.5. And to solve here, I'm going to go ahead and multiply both sides by that. Hang on, let me move that over a little bit. There we go. Go ahead and multiply both sides by negative 6, right? Negative 6. And so these cancel out, so we get r equals, now obviously a negative times a positive is a negative, and 0.5 times 0.6 is 3, so negative 3. And we'll slide that stuff out of the way. The next one, so I'll rewrite this for us here. We have s divided by 2.5 equals 5. And I'm going to go ahead and multiply both sides by 2.5. So 2.5. These cancel out, so I get S equals, and 5 times 2.5, well, 5 times 2 is 10, right? 5 times 0.5 is 2.5, so I'm going to get 12.5. That's how I did that one in my head. Do you like that? All right. And get these out of the way. And moving on to C. There we go. Let's see, we're going to go ahead, so we have negative 80 equals t divided by 4.5. Oops, that's not really a 5. It tried to be. It kind of gave up trying to be a 5 there. There we go. So I'm obviously going to multiply both sides by 4.5. Again, by 4.5. There's a decimal there, I promise. This side cancels out, so t equals... it's going to be a negative answer because it's negative 80 and then it's positive 4.5. So if I multiply that at 4.5 times 80, so if you think about it, you want to do it in your head, right? 8 times 4 is 32, so that's 320 of it, right? You throw the 0 back on. And half of 80 is another 40, so that's how I get 360. Again, all in my head. So there you go.